Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Trope Bracket challenge! This time we're focusing on the 16 worst romance tropes. Now I did post over on Instagram asking for suggestions from you guys for what your least favorite tropes were, but ultimately all 16 of these tropes are tropes that I just really don't like. And how the bracket system how the bracket system works is that I have collected the 16 worst romance tropes, I have put them into a randomizer, and that determines our head-to-head matchups. Which is sometimes frustrating, as you will see one of the matchups here I think could have been a final two scenario, but alas. This happened last time too with the fantasy tropes, oh my goodness. So then I will work my way through the bracket in order to determine the absolute worst trope in romance. But as a point of curiosity, and because I have my own particular feelings about certain tropes, I do post all of these head-to-head matchups over on Instagram so that I can see what you guys think about these as well. Now before I reveal the head-to-head matchups, I do want to add one final disclaimer to this, which is that I love romance, okay? I write romance of all different sorts. I freaking unapologetically still love Hallmark. It is on 24/7 during the holidays, like even not during the holidays. I love it, okay? I love it in all of its forms. So all of these comments are with that love. Also, okay, I lied. One other disclaimer is that this really isn't focusing on dark romance either. That's a whole other category. We're not gonna get into it in this video. So, time to reveal our first matchup, which is everyone must end in a couple versus stalking is cute. Here's the thing, everyone must end in a couple frustrates me for a multitude of reasons. I see this happening most often in like long-running TV shows where it's like, we're not ordering any more seasons. You gotta give the viewers something. We need a happy ending. Put them all together. They all need love. Especially when they do it with characters that like we didn't get to see any build up to that, or the build up was so forced in the last like 3 episodes of the show or anything like that. Again, as a lover of romance, it's okay if not every character has a romance. Did you hear me, TV executives that are most definitely watching this video? It is okay. However, this one is up against stalking is cute. Stalking is most definitely not cute. I'm so tired of that being romanticized. I'm looking at you, Edward, you freaking weirdo. Ugh. I love all things like urban fantasy, paranormal romance, anything like that. This is a big feature there, especially, you know, when the supernatural creature falls in love with the human woman, usually, but you know, sometimes, man, why you gotta stalk them though? That one's worse. It moves on to the next round. Ding ding! Let me type that out actually now. This is the first time that I'm doing this concurrently. Stalking is cute. Next up, the successful woman must choose between her family and her career. Do you remember when I said how much I love Hallmark? Because that is a very Hallmarkian thing to do. But you see it all the time in rom-coms and I'm just really not here for it. It is up against paranormal age gaps. You know, what is it, May, May, December? When there's a big age gap, it usually doesn't actually bother me that much. It does bother me when it's like a 1,000-year-old vampire with this 16-year-old girl. But she's so mature for her age, isn't she? God. Let me tell you, this was my big thing with Interview with the Vampire as well. That book creeped me out on so many levels. I was so uncomfortable. She was a child, sir. Oh gosh, okay. That being said, because of its ubiquity and because it's like, because I'm over it, the successful woman having to choose between career and family, and she always chooses family, okay? That's the other thing. If you're gonna make it a choice, can I actually see it as a choice? I guess it wouldn't be in the romance category then, but like, I don't need this. Ah, yes, the weird power dynamics. I'm talking about here the professor and the student, the therapist and their patient, anything like that. The problem with this one is that I literally just cannot watch it. I just don't like it. I just do not like it. There are some romance tropes that I can appreciate a little bit of the power dynamics, such as I unapologetically love all forms of billionaire-y kind of thing. The princess and the pauper sort of thing, like, yes, give it to me, I love it. But I literally have to turn off episodes of shows where they show the psychologist with their patient. It grosses me out so much. Also, any of the professor and student thing, especially because they try to convince me it's sexy. It is not sexy. If you cannot consent, it's not sexy. Stop trying to convince me otherwise, Hollywood. It's up against awful person is transformed by true love, which is annoying. Like, I also want to root for the love interest. That's gonna come up again. I also want to root for the love interest, but alas, the weird power dynamics are just the winner. This one is another no-brainer for me. The surprise baby or surprise child. This can come in a multitude of formats. The surprise baby that's either meant to bring the characters together after a one-night stand, or the surprise baby of like, we were already in love and surprise, there's also a baby. Or the surprise child in the case of Luke on Gilmore Girls, which it wasn't even done well. The rage I have. So that's gonna be the winner. It was up against the chase scene at the end, often in movies, often taking place in the airport in the scene. Yeah, surprise baby child needs to go away. And here, and now, we are at the one that I think could have made it all the way to the finals, both of these. Cheating versus love triangles. Here's the thing. Who likes cheating in real life? As someone who mostly turns to stories as forms of entertainment, I don't find anything about cheating entertaining. I also don't like that the author is once again trying to convince me that the cheating was okay because actually the person was like X or Y or Z. Just talk. Just talk to the person. Have that be a thing. You cannot convince me there's any scenario, unless it's Casa Amor at Love Island. You can't convince me there's any scenario where you couldn't have talked to the other person and even just been like, I'm out. You don't even have to explain it. You can just leave. Tell them you're leaving, but you can just leave, okay? Don't cheat. That's up against love triangles though, which are so common and often not done very well. This is almost the opposite problem to the cheating, where in real life, I hardly ever see actual love triangles, even in school. Like, even when you're really young and you're like conditioned to think that that's what school's supposed to be like, that so rarely happens. And if it is like a polyamorous situation, then it's often not love triangle-y because they're all consenting to it. So it's not the thing. I dislike both of these. That being said, I dislike one of these more. Cheating often throws me out of the story. I guess that's a common reason for me to not like something, is if it's literally pulling me out of the story. I then have a hard time rooting for the love interest. I have a hard time rooting for the main character. No, cheating advances. Love triangles, I think, can have the option of being done well. I refuse to believe there's a cheating scenario that can be done well. Now we have simple misunderstandings or not communicating the problem and expecting the other person to like read your mind, lasting the entirety of the movie. Like, that is the plot problem. That's it. That's why your characters can't be together, because they can't communicate. Not in like you're trying to show me that there's communication issues that they need to work through, but like there's a single issue that was a miscommunication for some reason and no one asks follow-up questions and they just assume. Okay? Versus the hallmark trope of literally falling for the person. Is it possible to find one of these more annoying but hate the other more? Is that possible? Because that's how I feel in this scenario. Okay. The one that has to advance is the not communicating, because that's what I'm gonna remember from the book or the show or the movie. I'll remember my annoyance all throughout. I will roll my eyes so hard all the way back of the head at the character literally falling for the person and the person catching them or stumbling and being caught. But it's not as bad. But I won't remember that. I'll remember other things. It's cheesy. It's so cheesy. Sometimes I like the cheese, but not this cheese, you know? This is the blue cheese. Next up, we have insta-love versus the other man or woman is awful. I'm gonna add a little bit more context to this one since I think we all know what insta-love is. When I'm saying the other man, woman is awful, oftentimes we have our main character, our love interest, and for some reason the book, show, movie, tries to pose this other person as like a potential threat to whatever these two have almost going on, and yet they make this person terrible. reason our potential love interest is like maybe into them supposedly. This is true in real life as it is in shows. If that love interest can't see what a terrible person they are, I don't like the love interest anymore. I guess I really want to root for my characters. That's what it is. I really want to root for them. And if this character's a dumbass, I don't want to root for him. However, is the greater sin insta love? And I think it is. This is another scenario where this one annoys me more, but this one's worse. Insta love, you lose your credibility as an author for me. Like, this one makes me doubt the characters. Insta love makes me doubt the author. That's it. So insta love advances. The final matchup in the round of 16 is on-off again relationships against calling off the wedding at the altar and or a friend's instance saying the wrong name at the altar and the fallout from that. Because if the tension wasn't enough, let's add a room full of your family, friends, and loved ones and then make you deal with it. While much like the airport chase scene, I'm tired of altar-related issues, even though I'm watching Married at First Sight. I'm gonna say on-off again relationships are way worse. And it's again because I lose faith in the writer here. This happens a lot more, I find, in TV shows. We can all literally think of a show where they did that. I have New Girl springing to mind. You know, they're trying to build the tension, give us some options, give us the romance that we want in our show, and they get the characters together too soon. We're gonna have to panic. It's too soon. Now they're together. How do we write cute love when it's not a will they, won't they? So now they won't. They won't. That's the answer. But will they? But will they again because they will? And then they won't, and then they will. No. I want a slow burn. So it's on, off again relationships. And because I was slightly late to filming this intro, I actually have the data on the first round from you guys. So we're going to see how I compare. Y'all also chose Stalking is Cute, The Successful Woman Must Choose, ooh, Weird Power Dynamics, and The Surprise Baby or Child. We're on track. Interesting. Cheating, Simple Miscommunications, and this is where we completely differ. Y'all chose The Other Man or Woman is Awful over Insta Love, which I am surprised. And then y'all chose Calling Off the Wedding at the Altar as being the greater sin. Very interesting. So I'm gonna highlight the part where we diverged. And now it is time for my round of 8. Stalking is Cute versus The Successful Woman Must Choose Between Family and Career. I'm gonna take a sip so I can think about it. I'm actually gonna move on. I'm gonna come back to this one. I don't know yet. Oh, Weird Power Dynamics versus The Surprise Baby / Child. Oh no, I hate both of them. Wow, this sucks. Have I ever liked The Surprise Baby / Child? There's a lot of reasons not to like this one, especially as conceiving is really difficult for a lot of people who might want a child, and then that can be a sensitive issue. That being said, for me, I think the Weird Power Dynamics is worse when I take into account the most egregious of the Weird Power Dynamics. Ooh, cheating versus simple miscommunications or misunderstandings. Not communicating? What did I call this one? I think it's gonna be cheating. It's just, because it goes back to I can't root for the characters anymore. Is cheating gonna go all the way? Oof, oof. Insta love versus on-off again relationships. I think it's gonna be insta love. Because though I hate on-off again relationships, these writers know I'm a little bit of a sucker because I think it still can be done well. I think if you get them together 3 times, the first time, somewhere in the middle, and then at the very end, there's still a tease. I think there can be reasons for these first ones. Yeah, insta love is the greater sin for me. Oh no, I still have to decide between Stalking is Cute or The Successful Woman Must Choose Between Career and Family. Okay. I think it's gonna be The Successful Woman Must Choose Between Career and Family. I talked a lot about my love of Hallmark before. I talked about the things I don't like about Hallmark, but this one happens in a lot of movies. In fact, what was wasn't there some movie with Sarah Jessica Parker where it's like, she can have it all? but she can't. I didn't watch it. I just remember seeing the trailers and I felt like they were kind of making fun of all the movies where it's clear that she can't have it all, but even though I think that might have been the premise at the end of that movie, I feel like I see stalking less. When I don't know what to do, I choose the one I see more. That makes sense, right? Okay, we do have 2 hours left, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. Some of these, there's a clear winner, ooh, except look at how close this one is between the weird power dynamics and the surprise baby slash child. The rest of them are very clear cut. So I'm gonna give it the remaining 2 hours and we're just gonna see what happens. So that means it's time for me to move on solo. Round of 4, who shall advance? Successful woman must choose between family or career or the weird power dynamics. Okay. Because I hate all of these at this point, I'm gonna go for the successful woman must choose between the career and her family. Because that's the entire point. Right? Like that's the whole point of the thing. The point is to find love, but like that's her lesson she's gonna learn or whatever, or struggle through. Whereas usually the weird power oh no, but that's the whole thing too. Ugh, no! The bottom one's easier. Okay, we're gonna go to that one. Cheating is worse than insta-love, because insta-love, though I dislike it, if you can at least like give me a good romance once they're together that I can root for, I'll almost forgive how that came about. Almost. Cheating, I cannot forgive you. And also often feels like a gotcha to the reader as much as it is to the other character, and I don't like that. Stop trying to get me. Or do I choose weird power dynamics to advance because realistically I can see the successful woman must choose between career and family is like usually the point, so it's more in my face. I'm not shocked by it. How did surprise baby child not make it through? Oh, weird power dynamics. See, so should it just advance? Should it continue? I still have not made up my mind, but I want to be transparent about this. I realize that we're gonna be at the final 2 next. Nothing is gonna beat cheating, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it does. I want an answer. Internally, I am struggling here, but it is not my trope bracket challenge winner. Both of these two, the successful woman must choose between family and career, and weird power dynamics are not worse than cheating. Cheating is our winner. This is me trying to decide if I can find a way to get out of making this choice right now. I'm gonna think about this. Editing Kate is gonna think. And I will flash on the screen which one I think is worse at the time of editing. I'll be back with y'all's answers. Okay. Okay, I'm coming back to you with the results of the trope bracket challenge. Please ignore the bits of white paint I have in my hair. Don't know if the camera's picking it up. Still in the process of moving, as you can see all this stuff behind me. Okay, so what I think is particularly interesting is that unlike the last time, the fantasy bracket, we did not end up with the same ultimate answer, though we did get remarkably close, which is interesting given how different our answers were over the course of the bracket. Like I would say, as I'm looking at this, when we got to the round of 8, so 4 matchups, there was only one that we agreed on. So we were at 25%. So with that said, for the next round, between stalking is cute and the successful woman must choose between career and family, y'all chose stalking is cute, which I fully understand. Weird power dynamics versus surprise baby child, y'all chose the surprise baby child. I do want to point out though just how close weird power dynamics versus the surprise baby child was. 887 votes for weird power dynamics and 899 for surprise baby child. That's only 12 votes separating the two. 12 votes. That is so close. Cheating now did advance, and this is the only one that we agreed on. This was our 25%. But then y'all had the choice of the other man woman is awful versus calling off the wedding at the altar. So we'd chosen completely different things at this point, and y'all chose the other man slash woman is awful. Now in the end, you guys had the choice between stalking is cute and cheating, and y'all chose stalking is cute as the greatest romance trope sin. And even though it did not make it particularly far in mine, I have to agree it is a terrible sin, though I stand by my cheating bracket. Ultimately, What this taught me was, I mean, obviously we all want to root for our characters, but I don't think I realized I don't want the characters I'm rooting for as good guys to make unforgivable mistakes. If I can understand it, I'm willing to do it. I love me a gray area hero. I'm writing freaking pirates, you know? But I need to be able to root for him. And I even want to root for my villain. And my villain's a cheater. I don't really want to root for him either. And then the sin of the writer, just with the insta-love and then the on-off again relationships. That trust that I find that we build between writer and consumer, whether that's reader, watcher, whatever. I don't think I realized how strong that was for me from this side of things. So that was really cool to know. All in all, this was so much fun. But please do comment down below. Let me know what your trope bracket would look like. Do you think there are any romance sins or romance tropes that you hate that I didn't even have in my list of 16? Because again, I just chose these 16 verse ones from my point of view and I made y'all use them. So there could be other 16 that y'all hate that I just happen to like. Let me know what sort of genre you'd like to see for the trope bracket challenge next, or let me know if you'd like to see romance tropes that I love in a trope bracket challenge. I would love to know. Lots of love there. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see y'all very soon with the new video. Bye. I have friends that I love that have done bad things and I have loved them a little bit less after. Whoops. At the heart of it, the successful woman must choose is really just sexism because we're not asking that of men.